I remember I walked up into St James's and my hands, everything, my whole body just lit up. I've got goosebumps all over my...
I get those goosebumps. I get those goosebumps every time you come around, girl. You ease my mind, you make everything feel fine. Worry about those comments, I'm way too numb, yeah. It's way too dumb, yeah. I get those goosebumps every time. I need the hype, go that.
Good evening, everyone. We're not one yet. Maybe Thursday, maybe.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Oh no, I missed what you put in the chat.
yeah, that's it. Get it in. It's been a few days, Pete.
We can do that. Sorry, I didn't see you in the chat, but no. We can do it again in just a second. Welcome. Low Mag NUFC on this fine Sunday evening, the fight for Europe. We will be getting into that very, very shortly, and the boys will be coming on sort of around 8 o'clock. But yeah, I think we've got a few other things to talk about for this first 15 minutes or so. Yeah, some breaking news. But just to get to that, how are you boys? How's your weekend? Football-free weekend, no match. Newcastle United not playing. How's things with you, Daz?
Well, I'm good, Pete, but Chris, I'm not talking to Pete. If you remember, I'm not talking to Pete. So you can tell Pete, because after he insulted me with all those boy band references over the picture I sent on, I'm not talking to Pete for this show.
I didn't need it.
I'm good. A bit of sun in Ireland for a change. Summer has finally landed out in shorts today, and doing a bit of mowing. Not only with the Manscaped 5.0, but a bit of mowing on the lawn as well. So there's a link in there. Where is it? It's there somewhere. Boom. Down at the bottom of the screen. 20% off Manscaped using the code LOADED20. So check that out. But yeah, all good with me, Pete. Looking forward to talking about this show tonight, the fight for Europe, and looking forward to get back and into it then as the games come back first. Chris, how are you?
Oh, good, mate. Yeah, it's funny actually because when Pete said, no football this weekend, like all I've done this weekend is watch football. That's all I've done. Obviously not Newcastle United, but all I've done this weekend is watch football. So it's been nice. It's been good. Obviously not quite as good as watching Newcastle United, but I've had a nice weekend. It's been nice and chilled. But you know what? I've been looking forward to this show because you boys will remember I missed the last Fight for Europe show. So this is my debut tonight. So yeah, really looking forward to it. It'd be great to have the lads on and talk all things European chasing. So yeah, really looking forward to the show tonight. And yeah, it's been a nice weekend and back to the grind tomorrow, back to work. But Pete, how are you, mate? You all right?
Yeah, good. Busy weekend, football filled weekend, like you said, not Newcastle United, but with the kids playing football and watching football pretty much all weekend myself. Yeah, it's not been too bad. But you know what? I have to say, we're going to get into it as well. Results haven't been too bad either, so not been bad at all. We'll be questioning our guests about their particular results today. And in the previous, because I believe the last time we did Fight for Europe, it was just before we all went to Newcastle. So I think it was just before the West Ham game. So there's been a few movers and shakers since then, and we'll get into it. However, something else we needed to talk about first, and Daz, if you want to whack up that breaking news, feel free. Go ahead.
That's Chris on the breaking news, but this is our breaking news. You will have seen it on the socials during the week. But Loaded has finally hit 10K.
Hey!
Thank you to all our subscribers. Thank you to everyone in all the chatters. Thank you to everyone that has ever appeared on the show in a hosting capacity or come on and join us. Thank you to all our sponsors as well. Thanks to everyone. Thanks for just being there.
Definitely. Yeah. Well, we set that target out, didn't we, boys? Way back when. We always kind of like dreamed of that 10K right from the beginning. Certainly from when I kind of first joined you boys, I was the last one to kind of like jump on, but we always had that kind of vision of getting to 10K and what that might look like. And for me personally, it's amazing to be a part of it, of that growth, to see it get to that. I don't know if you boys remember when we got to that first 1K, the buzz that we had, it was such a great feeling we hit that, and I think we might have done it live on the show one night. But yeah, to see.
I was promised new buttons. I never saw them. Never saw them buttons.
I think every 1,000 we reach, we were promised new buttons. But boys, what your thoughts? How you feeling?
Me, I'm just so delighted that we've managed to get this far. I remember at the very start, I thought if we got 100 subscribers, I would be surprised. And as I said originally when we came back, ever we created on YouTube, I only ever came on to do one show, and it just escalated. It escalated quickly, so. Chris.
Yeah, do you know what? It's quite mad, isn't it? And I know we do plug this a little bit, but it is, when you sit back and actually take stock of it, it is actually like a massive achievement. Well, I feel like it's a massive achievement anyway. You know, us boys, we do this on a part-time basis, as most of you know. Pete's gone centre stage. What's happened to him?
Still in the limelight.
Yeah, no, it's mad. Wait. That's happened before that, hasn't it? I don't know why it does it. But
must be a shortcut key or something like that. Yeah, that does that.
Yeah, but no, I mean, for me, it feels like a massive achievement. As I've said just then, you know, us boys do this part time. We've all got full time jobs, families, stuff like that, and it can really be difficult at times, you know, to kind of get all the content out. But the fact that, you know, we have such amazing support, amazing viewers, people like what we do, it means the world. Really, really does, and it's quite an achievement. Like we don't take it for granted, and as I say, it's fantastic that everyone out there really enjoys what we do, and we try our very best. But to get to 10K is huge. Like I'll be honest, boys. At one point, I was thinking, are we ever going to get there? Are we ever going to get there? And the fact that we've done it is just brilliant. And now already, I'm thinking 11K, 12K, 15K, 20K. I just want to keep going. Pete, how are you feeling about it all?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'm absolutely buzzing. Not just achieving the milestone, because that was sort of like the target that we always wanted, but like I think, as you mentioned it earlier on, it's everything else in between. It's the shows that we've been doing. It's the type of shows. It's the guests. It's everything that we've kind of like coordinated over the years to kind of get to this point where we're doing sort of regular content, like you said, almost part time. Like we're working all day, and then doing this in the evenings, and we're having to fit all the planning and everything ideas that we have in between that, and it's not easy. It really isn't easy. And so I'm not gonna lie. I think for me, it feels that little bit sweeter that we've done it now, because there are other brilliant channels that are well like 10K and above, but we're not full time. Like we do this as and when we can, and that for me makes it a little bit more sweeter. The fact that we can produce some really, really good content, and content that certainly the three of us are proud of, and on top of that, we're able to still manage work, family, and everything else. Like I think the way in which we've balanced it, I think has been really good. So, massive credit to everybody, like you said, every guest that's been on, everybody that's been a part of the channel. Obviously, Martin Ritchie previously as well, before me, and yeah, it's been it's been a really good journey. But as we said, like we're not finished yet. We're just getting started. We've got plans aplenty for the weeks, months, and years ahead. So if you're sick of us now, then you're going to be even more sick of us in the time to come. That's for sure.
Yeah, because Jordy Timberlake says quality over quantity, but there could be quantity as well in the summer. That's what we're hoping for as well. That means that the things are going well. Yeah, what we want in the transfer window. But to celebrate, we're going to do a giveaway. But I want to give a shout out first to our sponsor from last year and continued into this year as well. Of course, we have H2O bathroom wear as well. But I want to give a shout out to the Radiator Shed and spice up the video a bit. Let's give another little shout out in the video. Go check out Russ and those rads at theradiatorshed.com and go check out the latest and greatest. But we promised the members draw before we get the lads on and get into the show that we promised. Let's go with the giveaway. And as we saw it scrolling across the screen there earlier, yes, you know by now we are partnered up with Manscaped, and for 20% off and free shipping, use the code LOADED20. But put that up again in a few minutes. Let me get the spinny wheel. Everyone loves a spinny wheel. And here it is. So we're back again. We only gave away things the other day. We're back again with another wheel. I haven't even touched it. All the names I checked. Is any new names? But everyone's in it. So anyone that does appear that won the other day, fortunately, we're not giving you another prize. So Harry, the Toon Army Netherlands, and Jordy's going for life. We'll see he's in the chat as well. So, but ready, Chris. What's this first one for? There's going to be 3 prizes, I think.
Yeah, that's correct. We've got another free prize giveaway this evening. And the first prize, so this is the one that we're going to be giving away now, is for the Weed Whacker 2.0. And this is an electric nose and ear hair trimmer. Just to give you a bit of a description, one rogue nose or ear hair can be the difference between attracting the right or the wrong kind of attention by a hair. Cut to a painless solution, the Weed Whacker 2.0 with second-generation engineering and a superior cutting-edge, skin-safe technology, waterproof, up to 45-minute runtime, intelligently contoured ergonomic design. Bloody hell, that was a mouthful to say. 360 rotary dual-blade system and a 7,000 RPM motor. I mean, we'll just have to take Manscaped's word for that. But yeah, a 7,000 RPM motor. So yeah, that is prize number 1, Daz. That is prize number 1.
That is good. That is good. I promise you, that is good. Right, here we go. Best of luck, everyone.
Best of luck, everyone.
We're off already, and the winner is East Durham Mag. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
I've seen East Durham Mag in the chat before.
Yeah.
Cool. We'll hopefully track East Durham Mag down. Contact us, contact Chris, contact any of us. We'll get you in touch with Chris to get that sorted. So straight away into prize number 2. What's prize number 2, Chris?
Fantastic, mate. So prize number 2 is going to be the Buff Bundle full body shower kit. And again, just to give a description, the Buff Bundle has everything you need to take your shower routine to the next level. Designed to maximize the lather of our body wash, you'll step out of the bathroom with a full body clean, feeling rejuvenated and confident. And this kit includes the Body Buffer silicone scrubber, as you can see on the screen, 2 16-ounce 475ml bottles of refined body wash. And yeah, so that is the Buff Bundle, and that is prize number 2 this evening.
Big Dave in the chat is loving this. He's hoping he wins this one. I see.
Come on, Big Dave.
But let's best of luck to who's going to win this one. Here we go.
Best of luck.
Here we go.
Oh, Limerick Jordy. Irish lad.
Congratulations. Congratulations. Brilliant stuff.
Congratulations.
I'll hopefully be able to track down that winner. I'm sure he might be in the Irish Mags chat, so I should be able to find him. So nice one. Cool. And prize number 3, Chris.
Prize number 3, the third and final prize, is the body care kit. So the body care kit, again, to give a description, show your body some love with our signature body scrubber and a lineup of premium products formulated with the highest quality ingredients for the top-notch skin and hair care. 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner refined scent, body wash refined scent, the body scrubber silicone body scrubber, and the deodorant refined scent. So we've got in there the 2-in-1 shampoo, the body wash, the silicone body scrubber, and a deodorant. So yeah, that is prize number 3, the body care kit.
Chris, your previous experience in Avon is really shining.
It's shining through, isn't it? It is. It is.
Right, here we go. Last one. Best of luck, everyone. Dan United might have his eyes on this as well. Hang on.
Simon Newell.
Oh, Simon Newell. Congratulations.
Congratulations. That is it for the draw. Nice.
Seen Simon Newell in the chat as well previously too. So yeah, regular chatters, I'd imagine, in the chat. So yeah, congratulations to everyone.
Just to reiterate what Daz said before, everybody who's a prize winner tonight, reach out to me, reach out to Daz, Pete, the channel, whatever, and we'll make sure that we get that prize ordered for you. But many congratulations.
Nice one. And just I saw a comment linked to this because Jordy Tune for Life has already said, such a beautiful spring day, so I decided to cut the grass and make the garden look bigger. Job done very safely. Thank you, lads. I don't know what he's referring to, but it could be the prize that you sent him, Chris.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Jordy Tune for Life.
Brilliant. As long as the garden looks bigger, that's the main thing, isn't it?
Pete, let's get rid of this nonsense and let's get on the show.
let's sidestep that. Great stuff, as always. Right, boys, the fight for Europe is on. It is well and truly on. And as we've put in the promotion for the show tonight, the fight for Europe continues. And look, we just thought we'd get a couple of the old rivals for these European spots in to talk all things European football. And look, it's an absolute pleasure to welcome back West Ham fan from the Hammers Pod, official Big Dave. How you doing?
I'm good, thanks. Thank you for having me. Congratulations on 10K. I just want to say that I was watching that draw there for the Manscaped products, and I was really hoping something was going to come up that might remove a Scottish manager from a football dugout.
You never know. You never know. We go through different prizes and different giveaways. So you know what Manscaped are like. They could potentially create something that called the Moisey out, but we'll see. We'll see. Pleasure
talking.
Regulator
on them, I suppose. That would help, but maybe not.
We won't say too much because we'll wait and we'll get into it as we get along. And of course, from United first, Man United fan, I don't know how happy he's going to be today. I'm interested to find out. But let's get him on. Let's get Dan on. How you doing, fella?
I echo Big Dave. I was hoping that there'd be something on that draw to get a certain Dutch manager out as well, to be fair. But what can you do? How are we all? But congratulations on 10K as well, boys. You absolutely smashed it. Absolutely smashing it.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Thank you, lads. Look, we have to start here. We have to start here because it was one hell of a game. One hell of a game, FA Cup semi-final at Wembley against Coventry.
Pete, you saw my comment in the chat. I fell asleep at 3-0. I was like, love it. Woke up and I was like, oh, is this the extended highlights? Now look, I was like, it's 3-3. We're in it. What the hell is happening here? Oh my days. What an hell that was. What an hell.
And, look, it was absolute madness. However, you managed to squeeze through and get the result. And look, where are you at this moment in time? Because I know you're like you've shared your frustrations now and again when you've come on the channel previously. But look, we'll get into European talk in a second from a Man United perspective. But what are you thinking as you've realised, as you've woken up and you've seen that it's 3-3, and then you've watched what you saw in extra time? Like, what is going through your head as a Man United fan?
I thought I was in a Freddy Krueger movie. I thought someone was haunting my dreams. I thought they were haunting my nightmares. I couldn't believe it. Do you know something? I've just like watched back now the goals, and I've just sat there and I'm just like, when does it end? Like, when does it end? Now, I'm not sat here asking for sympathy off you guys, because you guys have gone through far more than I have with my team, you know, with your team. So I'm certainly not asking for sympathy, but there's just got to be it's got to come to an end. Something's got to happen, because you can blame it on the players. I've blamed it on the players. You can blame it on the manager. I've blamed it on the manager. It's just a massive mess. Now, don't get me wrong, you know, I'm feeling a lot more happier in the sense of what we're doing behind the scenes. Just waiting for a certain Mr. Ashworth.
Show me the money.
I tell you what, mate, after today's performance, it wouldn't surprise me if they paid double for him. Jesus Christ. So I'm content in the sense that we're doing the things behind the scenes to try and get things right. I mean, I think we can all say, you know, as football fans, it's been so easy to laugh at the way Manchester United has been run for so long. So I think better late than never. But do you know something? The feeling, like a lot of people are going at Rasmus Højlund because he run off celebrating. We need to remember he's a young lad. You know, if I scored a goal in a 10-1 loss at Wembley, I'd be shirt off, bloody running around the pitch. So I think there needs to be a bit of realism there. But I think, we've got City in the next round now. Technically, in my eyes, I don't think City should be in the next round. I thought Chelsea were absolutely hard done by with the penalty incident yesterday with Grealish. But what's there to look forward to, Pete? You know what I mean? What is there to look forward to? It's not a great time to be a Manchester United fan, but I'd like to think that on the horizon there's some sunshine coming. Hopefully.
Definitely. Well, I say definitely, but for me, I'm not quite sure. I mean, I'm looking at your previous results, and I have to say that they're a little bit shaky. If you look here, so like going back to the 30th of March, because we mentioned the last time we did one of these shows, I know you couldn't make it because you weren't well, but we looked at like various teams and we wanted to see how they've kind of gone since that. And your results here, you know, you haven't won in that period of time. You've drew 3 games. You've lost to that absolute crazy game at Stamford Bridge. Like, in all honesty, like, do you see yourself getting European football this season? You know, I mean, and now what we'll do, we'll kind of just look ahead as well, because we'll look at the fixtures that you've got. These are your fixtures now between the end of the season. You've got, I think Sheffield United, are in there. I think we've got them. Yeah, there they are. You've got Sheffield United next, Burnley at home, Crystal Palace away, which is not too dissimilar to Newcastle United. But how do you see kind of the vision for European football? Is it a distinct possibility? Are you adamant that you're not getting it? Where are you at?
It's inconsistencies, Pete. I think, you know, we can all agree it's inconsistencies. I think as much as I go in with the manager, and I don't think Ten Hag's right for the job, because I think he rests on his laurels too much. I think he's far too he won't change what he's willing, what they do in a game. I watched Bournemouth change things up against us when we drew 2-2 there. I've seen so many teams hit us with a plan B, plan C. Now we don't. We have a plan A, and that's it. And our plan A, he will not move from that. He is not willing to change things up during the game to see if we can unlock teams. It's a catastrophe. I get we've had injuries, but me to sit here talking about injuries on this show would be a bit silly, really, because you've had more injuries than we have. The thing that I don't like about this Manchester United team is, regardless of who you're playing in defence, regardless of who you're having to play out of position, it's the fundamentals, it's the simple things that we're lacking in. It's the things that, as a Premier League footballer, well, as a professional footballer, you should know not to do. We're giving silly penalties away. We are wide open. When teams attack us, we are so wide open. There's no compact there. It's embarrassing. Now, with the fixtures we've got left, I mean, if you're asking me if I think we'll beat Sheffield United, I say we struggle at the moment going on today. Honestly, I can't understand how it's got so bad. You'd like to think Sheffield United, Burnley will get the results. Palace, we always struggle going to Palace. It's always been a ground we've I think struggled to get anything from. And then, of course, we got Arsenal at home now. That is going to be a massive game for many reasons, isn't it? You know, we're fighting now with West Ham as well. Chelsea have crept back in to get European football next season. But the flip side of that is Arsenal are still challenging for that Premier League title. We're starting to see, I feel, I think the Arsenal players are starting to run out of steam a little bit. I think that it's been a long old season, both physically and mentally for them. So it's going to be interesting to see what sort of form the both teams go into on that. And then, of course, on the 15th of May, that game's massive. I said to you, Pete, on the 12th Man podcast, didn't I, that whoever wins that game will probably get Europa League this season. And I think we're heading towards that being that game. I don't know if you agree.
Yeah, I think you know what? I think we might have even talked about that as well on Loaded as a massive game. What do you think about that?
Yeah, it does all kind of point. I was saying this about 2 weeks ago. It does kind of all point towards getting to that game, and it'll be all or nothing on that game. That's why I think we should even consider doing a match day live for that one. And Dan, I know you like them. Bring that on board.
Do you know what I hated? It wasn't even the fact that you beat us. It was the fact I was about 20 seconds behind you. So you're already celebrating the Newcastle goal. And I'm going, what? I
do remember. We could talk. We will see what
we'll get some negotiations in place.
Yeah.
Dave, I want you to come into this with regards to Man United, because Man United's consistency has been up and down all over the place. They're in I would like to think maybe a similar situation with you with regards to their manager. I think most Man United fans would want to see Erik ten Hag leave. What are your thoughts on Man United in looking at their fixtures that we just had up a second ago? I'll put them on in a second again. Like, do you think they've got a chance of maybe slipping away from Europe with the form that they're currently producing in the Premier League?
First of all, I'd love to know, just out of interest, Dan, whether you've got this general attitude towards Manchester United, from the media, of be careful what you wish for, because I'm sick of hearing it with regards to Moyes.
Yeah, I see what you mean. I kind of, my problem is, I'll be honest with you, Dave, my problem is with Ten Hag. I know, as you say, be careful what you wish for, but it's not working. The transfers that he's brought in, they've been so missed. There's been a couple of hits, but so many misses. And I kind of feel like if we are in this new dawn and we're bringing in this new, backroom staff, it has to change, because Ten Hag is very stubborn, and he will not move on the transfers. He will want the final say on transfers, and I think that will cause a massive, massive issue going into the summer. And like I say, I'm not sat here asking for sympathy, but it's got that bad. You got players liking tweets from Mark Goldbridge, for Christ's sake. Do you know what I mean? That is, would that happen at City? I mean, Christ, would that happen at West Ham? It doesn't happen. The players don't do that, do they?
Actually, no. Flappy and Soufal liked one of my tweets last month, so maybe they do it. They just do it to more respectable fans.
One's from Nottingham.
Chris, I'll come to you with the Man United talk, because we're talking about them not even winning in their last 4 games, like FA Cup aside. They've not won in the last 4 games. We've talked about it before on our reaction shows and other loaded mag shows, like how we felt that Man United have been quite lucky at times to pick up the points that they have. In your opinion, because they keep creating moments that just get them over the line in games, what are your thoughts? Do you think that they're just going to keep doing that and they're going to end up getting Europe just because they keep getting the moments? Or do you think at some point it's going to come to a head? Because just looking at these fixtures here, and I'll put them back up on the screen for Man United, like they're not straightforward fixtures. You look, okay, the first 2 that they are, but you look at Palace away, look what they did today, and we'll get on that in a second. Arsenal, us at Old Trafford, and then Brighton away. They're not easy fixtures.
No, they're not. They're not. I mean, the next 2 are going to be the key ones for me. I mean, I know Dan often refers to Man United as Moments FC, and I think that's probably quite accurate. I would never rule Man United, similar with Liverpool as well. I would never rule Man United or Liverpool out of anything until it's physically impossible. Man United. I mean, we saw that last season, didn't we? When Man United always find a way. Always find a way. I mean, I was convinced we were going to finish above Man United last season. I really was. And then obviously it didn't pan out like that. And I was actually surprised that Liverpool didn't catch us because, Liverpool are exactly the same. They always find a way. And they do have quality in the team. I think everything's just a little bit all over the place at the moment. And me personally, and Dan, sorry if you don't like this, but me personally, I do hope they keep hold of Erik ten Hag because I do think he's the wrong manager. I really do. Like, I can't see them going I can't see them going far with Ten Hag at the helm, if I'm honest. And they do need to have a big squad overhaul, and I know that's why they're anticipating a very big summer. But for me, I think the Man United's Newcastle game that's going to be a massive game. I fully expect Man United to get 6 points, but the problem is I'm saying I expect Man United to get 6 points because they got Sheffield United and Burnley coming up next, but they're the types of games that they drop points in. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if they drop some points there, but then they go and get something against Arsenal. Do you know what I mean? When everyone would look at that and go, "Oh no, they won't beat Arsenal, or they won't hold Arsenal." But it just wouldn't surprise me. But I think if we go to Old Trafford and we turn up and we perform in the way that we know we can do, I think by then, hopefully we will have should have secured 6th place, and that's what I hope we can do, Pete. But I would never rule Man United out because they do have those players that can provide moments of brilliance, and when the players turn up, they do have that quality.
Yeah, it's really difficult to kind of rule them out. When people rule them out, and Dan, you'll know this because we'll talk about it on the Race for Europe. People were ruling out Man United in October and November, thinking that they were going to be sort of like finishing 9th and 10th in the league, and they always have this moment of coming back up. But look, I'm just going to add this in because it's just popped up on my timeline. Apparently, Erik ten Hag is blaming the consistency of the referee today for the reason why they had to win on penalties. Also referring to it as not an embarrassment and a huge achievement. So that may be. I don't know what you want to say on that, Dad.
Oh Christ! This is what I'm talking about. It's like we're listening to a manager who's never stepped in front of the media before. I'd expect an ex-player in his first tenure at a club to be saying this sort of thing. This is a manager who's managed at the top level in Holland and at Manchester United now for a long time. I can't understand. I don't know whether he's just. It's almost like he's got to that stage. I don't think he cares, I think in his mind, he thinks, sack me. You're going to have to pay me 10 million at least. Do what you want. It's absolutely ridiculous. And the thing is, Pete, I'll be honest with you, I don't know if it's this raging hangover I've got from last night, as you know. Bloody hell.
Let's give some context to this because we have to. What time are we saying? 2:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
There was a video that popped up on the chat And it's probably one of the funniest videos I've ever received. A very drunken Dan getting into some arguments for reasons we probably shouldn't say on this chat, but it was hilarious. And I was thinking this morning, is he going to make the show tonight? Because I wasn't.
Mate, I was. It's been a horrendous day for me today because I got up with a hangover from hell. Went and managed my Sunday league team. We were 1-0 up all the way through. Last kick of the game, conceded an equaliser. Whistle goes after that. Then I come back. I pick the wife up from the train station. So I'm like, oh, my head's a bit. Get back, put the game on, 3-0. I'm thinking, oh, this is all right. I'm just going to lie down whilst I watch this. Shut my eyes, open them. What the? And then when they scored the fourth, which, by the way, I mean, wow.
It was marginal, mate. It was marginal.
You talk about trimming the bush to make the grass look. He needs to trim his toenails, this guy, because that is Jesus Christ. And again, do you know this is where I am now. The wife's watching it, and the wife, bless her heart, she's seen me go through so many emotions this season, the acceptance, the screaming, I just started laughing, and I couldn't stop laughing. I was hysterically laughing because I was like, this is it. This is the level. This is the level. And I'm sorry, not Mr. Middleton. I completely disagree with this because the bloody Coventry keeper was doing the exact same to Bruno just before that, and nothing was said about that. And then he got booked a penalty after that. So you can go on about Onana. Everyone seems to want to go on about Onana, but tell me a keeper that doesn't do it. I completely agree about being proud of Coventry. They should have won the game, but you don't be coming for Onana when their keeper was doing the exact same. And actually, I want to say something about Bruno today. I've been criticising this guy week in, week out. But you know what? 2 players in extra time who did not stop running, him and Maguire. They did not stop. They were all over the pitch. And I kind of sat there and thought, you may not be in the form that we want you, but I can see that you're showing you're trying to do something. And we all know, boys, we all know that 1 player, 2 players can't carry a whole team. You need a full 11 putting everything into it. So to watch Bruno in the 119th minute bombing back to centre back to get the ball to bring it back up, Harry Maguire bombing up to try and make something happen. It was probably the only bright spark of the game for me, if I'm honest.
Yeah. Picked up a couple of injuries as well. McTominay went off injured. Looked like Rashford went off with an injury as well. So whether they're available for Sheffield United midweek, let's wait and see. But look, I'm sure we'll come back to Man United talk as and well something great.
Lovely to see you, Lisa.
Who knows? We might get someone else like in Mark Goldbridge's tweets tonight. We just don't know.
Well, you won't get me bloody liking him, I'll tell you that.
Definitely not. But look, Big Dave, we'll come to you because it wasn't a great day for you either. I'm not going to lie. I was hoping for a Palace win for our perspective as Newcastle fans, but I wasn't expecting that to be the scoreline. Before we get into it, mate, this is obviously going to be raw for you because this happened today, just like the FA Cup semi-final. What were your thoughts? How did you go to the game today? Were you there?
Yeah, I was there. I agree. I didn't expect that either because I didn't think we were going to score 2 goals. So that was a surprise, wasn't it? I just was. I thought, honestly, right. Palace. I'm assuming there's no Palace fans watching this. Honestly, worst set of fans I've ever seen. This season, Villa put 4 past us. Looked like they were enjoying it. Newcastle 4 enjoyed it. Fulham put 5 past us. Liverpool 5. Arsenal 6. They all enjoyed it. Palace put 5 past us, and it was like someone was constantly in their ear giving them bad news. For the life of me, I don't understand how you can go to football, watch your team score 5. I mean, they absolutely dominated us, and I'm going to take nothing away from them. We lost that game Thursday night. Let's go back to the previous Thursday, right? So we've had 2 games in the Europa League against Leverkusen. Obviously, I don't know if you're aware of this, but they're unbeaten in the Bundesliga. I don't know if anyone's mentioned it.
Yeah.
But I've been told it repeatedly last month.
Wow.
And in
go
the
out
German
there.
Cup, Dave. And in the German Cup as
And
well.
and in the Europa League. And that still remains the case, without giving away too many spoilers. But 70 minutes for the first leg, 0-0. We're camped on our area. We're defending. It's part of the bus, back to the wall football. Players start to tire. They start to find the space they need. Moyes makes no substitutions. We lose the game 2-0. We play Fulham. Fulham was a must-win game in the race for Europe, and we lose that. We then go to we play the home game against Leverkusen. We get on the front foot. We're in their face. Absolutely, we rattled them. We were so aggressive, so intense. First half, again, the players have run themselves into the ground. No subs until the last 10 minutes. And by that point, Leverkusen spent most of the second half playing a bit of rope-a-dope, just knocking the ball around, making us chase, tiring us out. Had a couple of chances before they scored. Then they get the equaliser to, that effectively kills the tie. Remains their unbeaten run. Today we line up and you're like, okay, we need changes. We need fresh legs. The players have gone for 90 minutes at full intensity. And it weren't coming. He's come out midweek. He said, I like working with a smaller squads, which might be a great move, if you're playing one game a week. But when you're playing 2 games a week, you're playing Thursday, Sunday, you need to be able to rotate. You need to be able to bring players in, give players rest. He doesn't do it, and we're 3-0 down up to 20 minutes, 4-0 down after half hour. The West Ham mentality is a bit tongue-in-cheek, I think at another club, he would have got absolute dog's abuse, like real. It didn't really. There was a few shots on Moisey, what's the score? And you're getting sacked in the morning. And he got away lightly. He's lucky. He's a lucky man tonight, Moyes.
Is it still? Sorry, Per. I was just saying, David, are you still in the same bracket of because of what he achieved last season? Does that excuse what's happened this season, or are you sort of now at a point where you're like, it's time to change. We need to move forward now.
I think the vast majority of fans now, you'll still get the odd 1 or 2, but the vast majority of fans at this point are, we need a change in the summer. I think the Conference League trophy stops people going, we should sack him in the morning, because I want to give him a send off. As much as he annoys me, as much as he infuriates me with, the lack of substitutions, everything you said about Ten Hag, he doesn't make substitutions at the right time. He's flogging the players into the ground that, he wants full control of transfers, and the players he signs aren't pulling their weight. He's responsible for a lot of flops, a lot of duds. We signed Maxwell Cornet for 17 million. I think last summer we've hardly seen him. We've seen Ben Johnson, a backup right back, playing left wing, while Cornet, has been reduced to a spectator.
Cornet, if I'm right in thinking that Cornet, is he the one that when he was at Burnley on loan they got relegated? He thought, he signed for him, and he said, no, I'm on loan. I'm going back to my club. And they said, no, you're here full time, pal. You're going down.
That's the guy, yeah. I think he's regretting that now. I think he wishes he was still at Burnley. At least he might get to touch some grass once in a while.
Boys, I've got a question for you, and I think we have a similar type of question the last time you were on, Big Dave. But let me find it now again. Yes, it came from Dave Munden, and he says, Dave and Dan, I know you've been there before, Dan, but would you consider a swap of managers?
Do you know something? Right. Sorry, Dan. One thing I'm going to say about Moyes, and I was actually, when Moyes got sacked from United, I was against the sacking. And the reason being, my criticism of the board then was we give him a 6-year contract. We had a very old squad. And in my eyes, you don't give a manager a 6-year contract unless you know that there is a massive change that's needed. So, I mean, I'm not saying he'd have gone on and won things for United, but I thought the way we did him was a bit dirty. I think the players had a very, very bad attitude underneath him. I know he come in and tried to change a lot of things, but what managers don't? Do you know what I mean? I think the problem was this time round, Sir Alex Ferguson was the constant for so long. They'd never had change before. But, I mean, I wouldn't take him back now. And I'm pretty sure, Dave, you wouldn't want Ten Hag, would you, mate? Surely not.
No, but the sounds of it and everything you just said, we're just swapping one problem for another. You know, you're getting in Ten Hag, we get a slightly younger, slightly balder. You know, probably speaks better English than Moyes, but you know, that's all we're getting at this point. It's no, I wouldn't swap.
Isn't he the oldest manager in the league now, Moyes? I think he is, isn't he?
Oh, he must be.
Yeah, it was Hodgson, wasn't it? Before I think it's Moyes now.
I just wanted to bring up again, just like we did with Man United. We'll bring up the West Ham results. These are the West Ham results since that game at St James's Park. Obviously,
good. You could linger on that one for a little bit.
Yeah,
I know you enjoyed that one.
I just thought, you know, that's where the starting point was. We have to kind of bring it up and talk about it if we have to. That was just a mad game. Yeah, definitely one of our games of the season, that's for sure. But then you look at that since, and you look at that. It doesn't. Well, I'm asking you, Dave, and I'm thinking it shouldn't really fill you with much confidence. You lost against us, draw against Spurs. Even that win against Wolves, which is your only win in that sequence of results, was people would say slightly fortuitous with the goal that was ruled out for Wolves, and then you've got Fulham that beat you last weekend, and then you know what happened today. It doesn't look great from your perspective, and for a team that's been kind of back-to-back Europe for coming on 4 years now, to see that happening, and then looking at the fixtures there, like, do you think, looking at that and looking where you're on the table, you haven't got easy games. Liverpool up next, Chelsea away. Okay, you got Luton at home, which you'd expect to win, but again, with the results that you've had recently, and then you finish with Man City, they're not easy games. Do you think Europe's slipping away for you boys?
I think Europe slipped away. If there was any hope of us doing it, it went when we lost to Fulham. I think if you lose to Fulham and then lose to Palace, I mean, you put 6 points on that total at 54, and then say, okay, well, with Newcastle, Man United would then be 4 points behind us with 2 games in hand. Chelsea would be well in our rearview mirror. You know, then it's a lively discussion. But you look at those 4 fixtures, you look at the games in hand the teams around us have got, you look at the form. I mean, it's four wins this calendar year. Everton, Brentford, Wolves. I mean, one of them was Freiburg. You know, we're not keeping clean sheets. Yeah, Paquetá was superb during the first half of the season. Ever since the stories have been coming out, he's agreed his personal terms with Man City. You know, he's just stopped. I mean, you're getting less than minimal effort from him. You get the guy. I tell you what, though, he does when he rolls on the ground. He's got this really nice way of putting his hand to his forehead, like he's in some 1950s Shakespearean drama remake. You know, some real theatrics to it. I'll give him that.
But
you saw that.
I was going to ask this to Chris actually, whether he'd noticed it, but you brought it up, so I'll just bring it up to the whole panel, and it's a case of, and Chris, you might want to touch on this because you may have noticed it as well. But I think I asked Lawless the question. I think it might be on one of the Race for Europe shows. I said, "Is Lucas Paqueta, is he checked out?" Because the things that you're saying, Dave, when you're talking about him, with the potential agreed purchase terms, all the rest of it, it kind of gives me the feeling that he is. But Chris, just before Dave comes in, what are your thoughts on that? Do you think Lucas Paqueta maybe sees that his time is up at West Ham, and maybe that's why we're getting some of the performances that we're seeing recently?
It certainly feels that way. Like, obviously, you know, he had the move to Man City broken down, you know, due to the alleged betting scandal and stuff like that, and Man City kind of distanced himself from him. I was surprised actually, you know, that, well, the rumours are that they've come back in for him. I wasn't sure whether Pep would do that, but it feels to me like it has checked out. I mean, would things have been different had West Ham managed to get through against Leverkusen? I don't know. But it does feel like, maybe, and not just Paqueta, we're going to see this with a lot of players. There's going to be a lot of players in the Premier League who will kind of all, think, oh, I won't go into that 50-50 because I might be getting a move in the summer. You know what I mean? You're going to see that a hell of a lot. There'll be some players who are itching to try and, gain a move, to try and attract the attention of other clubs. And then there'll be other players who are just like, right, let's just see these last few games out, remain unscathed. And hopefully, I'll get my move in the summer. But it does feel that way with Paqueta. But if West Ham get a really, really big fee for them, it may not be such a bad thing. We saw what the Declan Rice money did for West Ham, and they made some really astute signings. And I'm sure a lot of West Ham's Dave will probably tell me the same. They don't particularly want to lose Paqueta, but if you're getting a huge sum for them, it's a lot of money, and then you can start to maybe look to reinvest. Because West Ham probably do need a couple of players in the summer, maybe 2, maybe 3, to really mount a decent challenge again next season in what looks like you could also be getting a new manager as well. So it's exciting times for West Ham, in my opinion. And if they bring in mega money for the likes of Lucas Paqueta, I've got no doubt, that they can go out there and sign, an adequate replacement, and obviously try and keep hold of the likes of Kudus and players like that.
You'll beat Liverpool at the weekend, mate. You're playing them at lunchtime. Liverpool don't play well at 12:30. You know this.
No, they don't.
Yeah, I mean, and to be fair, Klopp's got a ready-made excuse, and he does love blaming the lunchtime kickoff. I will say, I do think when I look at those fixtures, if we're going to win one of them, we're going to beat Liverpool, because Luton are just one of them teams I think that will have something to fight for, and it's one of those games like you were saying, like. This season, we've beat Tottenham at their stadium. I think said White Hart Lane, just whatever they called it these days. We've beat Arsenal at the Emirates. We beat, obviously, Manchester United at the London Stadium. We beat Chelsea at London Stadium. But then we've drawn with Burnley at home, drawn with Sheffield United away, lost at home to Everton. Palace have done us 5-2 today. It's just, so that's one of them games, and we was lucky with the away game at Luton. I think played them back in August. That Ward Prowse got away with. It was a blatant handball you'll never see, and incredibly, it's one of those rare moments where VAR sort of goes in our favour. But Liverpool is just, if we can go at them the way we went at Leverkusen, then I think we can frighten them. I mean, I look at Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. This is the thing with Moyes, is Chelsea at Stamford Bridge is, on paper, probably the most winnable game there. But Moyes does go to these places and pay teams far too much respect. And I anticipate that might be a game he puts a back five out. I think he'll try and nullify Cole Palmer and keep a clean sheet. And that'll be his tactical approach going into that. Man City away, forget it. I mean, God knows what they're going to do to us.
They'll be fighting. They could still be fighting for the title at that point. Probably will go down to the last day, so they're going to be. And you know what they've done on previous seasons? They've had the likes of Villa. I think they've gone to Brighton away, maybe, and there's a couple of others in recent years where they've really had to turn it on, and they've been able to. So I do fear for you. I have to be honest. I do fear for you if you're having to go to that last game of the season, having to get something in order to get European football. For me, I'm looking at the league table and where you're at, and I'll just pop it up in a second. I have to flip between them. But I'm looking at where you are right now, and I'm thinking to myself, if you're going to have to do your business in terms of getting your points on the board before that last game of the season. I actually can see you getting points against Chelsea. That, for me, is the type of game that I think is a little bit like Tottenham away, like you said. The Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, you ended up sitting back, countering, and winning 2-1. I can see you do something similar to Chelsea. And to be fair, from a Newcastle perspective, right, Staz and Chris, we're going to be buzzing that night because one of you is dropping points. Like that's a dream scenario. Just like you'd be buzzing with us when we're going to Old Trafford the Wednesday before the last game of the season. So it's going to be an interesting one. But for me, I don't know. I just feel like you have to get something against Liverpool. You're going to have to. It's at your place. You're going to have to get something because there's a high chance that in our next 2 games, certainly for Man United, you've got Sheffield United and Burnley. We've got also Sheffield United, Crystal Palace and Sheffield United. There's a chance that we're going to be picking up more points, and we've already got games in hand on you. So it's going to be an interesting one. But you not getting, just before we kind of move on, you're not getting Europe. Do you think that's going to completely kind of decimate where your growth's been? Because your growth as a team has heavily relied on you playing European football. Do you think having a year out of Europe, if you didn't get it, could like massively disrupt things? Or do you think that's going to be a little bit like what Tottenham benefited from not being in Europe and now are kind of fighting for Champions League? But what do you think?
No, I think once we're out of Europe, we're out of Europe. To be honest, you look at, Chelsea have spent far, and I think with Chelsea, they've spent far too much money. But at the same time, you see them, they're pulling these levers where they're like, oh, we're going to sell hotels to ourselves. Like, Chelsea are going to get away with, like, finding loopholes in PSR for the next 20 years. At some point, Chelsea will get back into it. And I just, I don't see Villa dropping away. I don't see Newcastle drop. I think Spurs will be better next season. With that year under Postecoglou implementing his style and getting his way. With regards to this season, you look at it, to use a cricket analogy, we got 4 games left. So even if we won all 4, we'd be declaring on 60. I don't think 8th gets Europe anymore because we're not going to get a 5th Champions League spot. Yeah. So I think 5th gets Europa League, 6th will get obviously
if Man City or if Man City win the FA Cup, 6th then also gets Europa League, which then
if Man United win it, they're just guaranteed the Europa League spot regardless. In which case, Conference League will go to 6/7. I can't see it. I look at that now and I just think like, realistically, we'll do well to get 4 points from our last 4 games, and I mean, Newcastle are going to win 1, Man United are going to win 1, Chelsea are going to win 2. It's just not. It's not happening. It's been a great ride. I've had some great memories, but I'll tell you what, I will genuinely be envious of whoever gets the Conference League, because as much as honestly, enjoy it. Like I genuinely enjoyed the Conference League more than I enjoyed the Europa League. It was something about, and obviously we won it, and that's going to hamper, or that's going to not hamper, but that's going to affect your memories and your feelings towards it. But going away to Larnaca and Ayia Napa was a lot better than going to Frankfurt, for example, or Leverkusen, or Germany in general, really.
Yeah. Well,
just my thoughts on West Ham. Sorry, Pete. The bad news is that I think it's over for this season. But the good news is Moyes is gone. Moyes' time is up, and I think Big Dave, you get your wish, and Dan Lawless gets his wish. Someone else will come in. And I think instill their philosophy into the club. It'll take a while for that to gel, and I suppose a bit of a reboot for West Ham. That's not a bad thing either. It keeps it exciting then as well. But I think you need a new outlet now, a bit of a change.
I just hope that Tim Stuyden's the one to pick the manager, because you look at Tim Stuyden, what he left behind at Leverkusen, that legacy there. Dave Sullivan's got a track record for giving jobs to Steve Bruce, Sam Allardyce, David Moyes. It's if Sullivan picks the manager, heaven knows how bad it could be.
Aren't you after Lopetegui? Isn't that the rumour going around?
Just going to put it on the screen. Yeah, apparently Lopetegui's from the Milan Eye has said that he's not going to be the Milan coach because he's close to agreeing a 3-year deal to become the West Ham manager. How true that is, who knows? But that's kind of the rumour going around tonight. So obviously Lopetegui didn't really get the funds and the backing at Wolves. He didn't really get that massive support, which is why he left. So could be a good appointment. I don't know what you think about that.
That's the first I've heard of it. The big name that we've been linked with, the one that's persistently turning up, is Paulo Fonseca. The way he left Wolves just bothers me. Like he walked out on them 3-4 days before the start of the season. you know, he's not going to get whatever he didn't get at Wolves. He's not getting at West Ham. You know, if at the best case scenario, Steiden's going to be in charge of transfers. You know, he's got a David Sullivan budget, which isn't a lot. It'll be normally what he can sell to raise. I don't think he's not going to enjoy it. He's not going to fit in.
Go get Potter, mate. Go get Potter or Southgate. Save us.
So good.
Do you know what? I mean, like, I don't want Southgate, but Potter I wouldn't be too averse to. He has got a track record, Potter, for leaving teams in positions and he found them, with the exception of Chelsea, who, frankly, are a basket case. But even then, I mean, like, if you look at if Chelsea are going to sack Pochettino, I'd take him. I think it's mad though if Chelsea like you don't appoint Mauricio Pochettino as manager to try and get success in a year, do you?
No.
But I'd love him. I'll take him at West Ham if he's available. He's on the market. You know, I'll have him.
We had the same conversation with Don. Chris, I think we did the away days for the match preview, where Don was going off and he was going off on one on Poch and he wanted him out, and it's like you can't just get rid of a manager within a year that has just been inherited a squad that. The owner's just gone wild and just paid stupid fees for these players to get them all in as individuals. It needs time to kind of bed in. But like, would you take Lopetegui, Dan, at Man United? Would you take him?
I'd take Lisa in the chat over Ten Hag at the moment, mate, and that's not a bad thing. At least Lisa shows passion.
She's going to carry in trays of shots as well, by the way.
Don't mention the S word, mate. I drank far too much last night. Do you know what? I mean, if we look at who's available, I'd take him over Southgate and I'd take him over Potter. And the reason I'd take him over Potter isn't a diss, you know, with Dave saying he'd take him there. It's more so I saw Potter try and get himself involved with the Chelsea team last year when there were some real bad eggs there, and he was like he was ruined there. They ruined him, and I think with the bad eggs that are in United, I just think it'd happen all over again for him. They need someone at United that's going to come in and just say, "You're gone, you're gone, you're gone, off you go," and they need the board to back that. They need the board to back that.
Jose Mourinho.
No chance. No chance. Not unless he wants to try and get our kitchen rating back up to 5 and do that. Not I don't want that man anywhere. Did anyone watch the interview with Schweinsteiger on the overlap?
I've seen little snippets, and the way he treated him, it's a disgrace.
And he's got history with so many players, hasn't he? So many players. If he doesn't like you, he just makes your life hell. I wouldn't have him. I wouldn't have him. Definitely not.
If anyone's,
I wouldn't have him.
For context on the Bastian Schweinsteiger, if anyone's not watched it or listened to it, so basically it was the first day of pre-season. Schweinsteiger comes in excited to work under a new manager, trains the first day, then he comes back in the second day and is told he's got to train with the kids, but he's told by, is it John Murta?
John Murta, yeah, on his birthday as well.
On his birthday he gets told that, rather than Mourinho telling him himself. He gets told by John Murta, and then he has to go and train with I think it's like the under-18s or something.
Yeah.
And he was told he's basically on arrival that he's got no future in the club. I just think there's a lot to love about Jose Mourinho. I love his passion. I love it, like how much. Ultimately, from a selfish point of view, I love how much he cares about Newcastle United, and the way he talks about Newcastle United because of Serbo Robson. I love that side of him. But
he's box office, isn't he? He's box office.
But when you treat players like that, like come on, like that's not okay. But
no, I don't feel sorry for Schweinsteiger because he had the chance to come to Newcastle. Remember the time we sold Milner?
Oh, here we go.
That was meant to be all lined up with Kevin Keegan, but it never happened. So no, don't write him off because of that. But he used to be a great player before he came to Man United.
Never again. Look, I just wanted to touch really, really quickly, and I'm just going to put it as an open forum for you guys around Chelsea. Obviously, I think Don was going to come on tonight, and Charlie were going to pop on, but couldn't make it for various reasons. But Chelsea are 9th in the league. They've got 3 games in hand on West Ham. We've got 1 game in hand on us. Their game in hand puts them ahead of Man United and level on points with Man United and us, but we've got a better goal difference. Now, obviously, their results recently have taken a bit of an upturn, shall we say. Looking at how they've performed, and I'll just grab them for just a second. I have to keep dropping through each one. They've had some good results since. I mean, obviously, the draw against Burnley was disappointing, and Sheffield United, but they beat Man United, and then obviously absolutely hammered Everton on Monday. Is anyone worried about Chelsea potentially sneaking in and getting a European spot? It never really looked likely, a few weeks ago, certainly a month ago. But is anyone worried that, for one, is anyone worried around this panel here that Chelsea are actually going to finish ahead of their own team?
I am, and then I saw their fixtures, Pete, and I'm not anymore.
Okay, so yeah, we need that context. So absolutely, because their fixtures aren't pleasant.
Oh,
good.
God.
Oh, good. They deserve that because I hate Chelsea.
So yeah, they're really not pleasant. So Tuesday, it kicks right in. Arsenal away, Villa away, Spurs at home, West Ham at home, and then they've finished with Forest away, which isn't going to be easy. They could still be fighting for their lives at that point. How tight is it at the bottom? And then Brighton and Bournemouth. So they've obviously got a few games left. And so I'll ask the question again. Is anyone worried that Chelsea are going to nick in there and get European football? I'm going to open it out to anybody. Like, what you thought? So Jimmy Watt's already put in the chat, bye Chelsea. He's already got the hand motion going. But anybody, what your thoughts?
It wouldn't surprise me if they managed to swindle it, that they changed the games to have Burnley, Sheffield United, and teams like that again, because they seem to get away with everything else. So it wouldn't surprise me if they do that. Yeah. But those fixtures are horrendous, aren't they? I mean, they are absolutely disgusting. So I don't know. The thing with Chelsea, we saw it yesterday, they haven't got a striker, and that's what's really hurting them this season. Nicholas Jackson yesterday, I don't know how many chances he had. I was still compass mentis at that point of the night, so I was still able to know what was going on around me. But I couldn't believe what he was missing. And I don't know. I mean, the thing is, they spent all this money, and we can talk. We've all talked about how much money they've spent, but they've never actually spent the money on what they need. And I think this is why they're failing so much. I don't think they get Europe this season. I don't see it. And for them to not get Europe 2 years in a row, that is massive. Absolutely massive.
Does anyone disagree with me when I say I don't think they deserve Europe?
No, definitely not. I completely agree with you.
I agree. Anyone, feel free to come in on that. But I'm just looking at Chelsea. I look at the way they've played this season. I look at the money that they've spent. I'm looking at those fixtures, and I'm like Dan. I'm like, you know what? I'm so happy they've got those fixtures, because I don't think they deserve European football this season. But
they are getting better, but they're still fighting between themselves. We saw the whole penalty situation the other day as well. But yeah, and I know Don, when he was on with us before, he had a great conversation with Dave about he wants to get rid of Poch and bring in someone else. But I think they're going to stick with them. They'll see that it's progressing a bit, and if you can just turn them into a team rather than individuals, that's the key for them. And I'm sure they'll go mad again and buy all around them. And get away with it and not have any restrictions placed on them. But yeah, they are getting a bit better.
The best thing Chelsea could do, in my opinion, is just try and in the summer, just go and buy 1 or 2 big players. Go and buy 1 or 2 players that they really, really need, and try and stick with the ones in the majority that they've got. Because I look at this Chelsea team, and they've got talent all over the pitch, haven't they? I like the goalie, Petrovic. I think Petrovic is decent. They've got Disasi, they've got Colwill, they've got Cucurella, Chilwell, James, Gusto, Enzo, Caicedo. You go for the whole team and you go, bloody hell, there's some really good players in this team. But as Daz rightly said, they're not a team. They're just full of just random players. I mean, yeah, just going through that there, there's all top quality players. But for one reason or another, it's just not happened for them. I just think with Poch, he just needs time to get his core squad of players. And this is the difficulty that Graham Potter had. Graham Potter had loads of players involved in his squad who he clearly either didn't rate or didn't want within the squad. And they need to get rid of the players who haven't got a future at the club and just go, right, we need a striker and maybe we need a new right winger, a new central midfielder, whatever, and get rid of all the players that they don't want because the squad's too big. The squad, I mean, Pete, you keep scrolling. The squad just doesn't end. It just keeps going on and on and on.
There's another page.
Yeah, they need to just shed a lot of deadwood out that team and pick the 11 and go, right, this is the 11 we want, and then let's go with 5, 6, 7 other core players and go, right, we're going to go with this squad of 18 players who are going to predominantly be in the first team, and then obviously I know you can go to 24, 25 man squad, but these are the players who are going to play week in, week out, and these are the players who are going to get us up the table. That's what they need to do.
I'm looking at some of these players, boys. I mean, like, to be fair, Nkunku's a top quality player, but he spent the whole season injured, and I'd be worried if I'm Chelsea because he doesn't look like he's going to get back fit anytime soon.
I got mocked for that. Do you remember, Pete, at the start of the season on the 12 man, I said he's a bad signing because he can't stay fit, and I got lambasted for that, and it's proven. How many games he played this season? 7.
7 appearances, 2 goals.
That's horrendous.
I think Dave wants to get in there as well.
I was just going to say, I couldn't disagree more, to be honest, Chris, because I think how many teams that are chasing Europe would take how many of those Chelsea players beyond Cole Palmer. I don't see anything in Moses Caicedo this season that makes me think, oh, he's doing a job for Arsenal or Man City or Liverpool. I don't see anything in any of those defenders. I mean, the goalkeepers are solid. Sanchez has dropped off a cliff, but Petrovic is like a solid goalkeeper. Is he a goalkeeper that's going to get you a Champions League? Is he a David Raya, Alisson, Edison, Nick Pope, Emi Martinez? I mean, I'd take
Fernandes, Dave. I'd take Enzo just to send him to do the cleaning around the stadium because I can't stand him. horrible player. Hate.
I'll tell you what, player. Go on.
Oh no, go on, mate. Go on. Sorry.
I was going to say, the one player there that's been overlooked that I really like is that Castledean. Because I watched him play with Chelsea's under-21s and he looked like better than anything. That Leo Castledean genuinely looked better than anything. He's certainly better than that Cassadine from what I've seen of Cassadine.
Oh, further up.
Yeah, so
on the right.
He's a midfielder. So you want to sort of scroll down a little bit to the midfielders and then
I'll find
the
it.
bottom of that kid is talented. I'm telling you, that kid's got a future in football. But for whatever reason, he's not had a look in. But I'll tell you now, like I would have him at West Ham next season. I would have him in and around the first team squad at West Ham next season. Give him minutes that he's not getting at Chelsea.
I feel for Lavia as well because he's been injured, hasn't he, all season, and he looked a really decent talent at Southampton last season.
He's a good player. Like one appearance as well. They spent crazy money on. I'm just looking at this, and we won't spend much longer on it because we'll come to Newcastle next. But like Raheem Sterling, he's played a lot of games for them. Like 6 goals, 4 assists. Like 300 plus grand a week. It's a crazy amount of money. You've got Caicedo the same. Like he's just looked horrendous. Even against City, he looked really poor. The one player that it divides opinion, I think, with Chelsea fans and football fans as well, is Conor Gallagher, and it looks like they want him gone. They're trying to farm him out for whoever will take him for as much money. Mudryk, I tweeted that yesterday. Like they paid 70 odd million for him. And then we got laughed at for buying Anthony Gordon for 45. And just look at that, 6 goal contributions this season. And it's not like he's barely played. He's put 25 appearances in this season. That's a lot of games. One player that I do like is this man. I really, really rate him. I think he's been one of the best right backs in the Premier League. And I actually feel sorry for him at times because I actually think he's a fantastic player. And he's just playing in a horrendous team. This guy... I had an exchange with somebody on social yesterday because we talked about him on Loaded on our full loaded transfer show in the summer. And if you remember, when Lee came on to talk French football, And we asked him about Axel Disasi. He was like, nah, like he's not the one. Like, and it's been proven the case because he has been absolutely poor. This guy, oh my God, Chris, he had, I think he had another ACL or another serious injury.
Mm-hmm.
He's been out again. And I think he's only like 23, 24. Like he is a top centre back. Like if he can stay fit, and that's the problem. I don't know what's gone on with him. He's rubbish.
Haven't they been playing Colvin a lot at left back though? They drifting him out. I think
they have, but and then there's all these links that Liverpool want him as well. So I don't know whether that's kind of creeping in as well. Cucurella, not great. Apparently, the rumours are that they're going to try and sell off Reece James in the summer to raise.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it does make sense. He's just injury prone. He's quality. When if they could keep him fit, then you build your defence around him. He's stunning. But I'm like that with Luke Shaw at United. I love Luke Shaw. I adore him. I think when he's fully fit, he's quality. But he just can't stay fit. He just can't stay fit. And I'd rather go out there and buy a left back that can stay fit for 80% of the season. Do you know what I mean? As opposed to coming back for 5 or 6 games, out again, coming back. You need consistency.
Don doesn't like Ben Chilwell either. You don't rate him at all. But boys, would you take him at Newcastle if he was on?
Do you know what, Pete? He's fell off a cliff. I don't know why, but I watched him. Was it? When did Chelsea last play? Was it yesterday? I've watched that much football. Yeah. Oh, mate, some of his decision making is just. I'm sure. Yeah, it was in the. Yeah, it was. It was in the last minute, wasn't it, against Man City?
The
decision making.
The ball to Sterling, he should have played.
Yeah. Whipping along. Oh, mate. It's just. And do you know what? Chelsea. I'm sure Chelsea paid 50 million for him. But something's gone on. Yeah. Something's gone on with him. I don't know what it is, but he's it's like he's lost his head or something. And this is the problem. We've just been scrolling through this Chelsea squad, and there's absolutely abundance of talents. But the problem is there's too many of them, and so many people are dropping in and out. Like Gusto gets dropped as soon as Reece James is back. Cucurella plays, then Chilwell plays, then Colwell plays left back. And it's like, what are you doing with all these players? There's too many players in the squad.
Player list. There's more profiles on this player list than there is on bloody Plenty of Fish. Not how many profiles are on there.
And Chris, there's your boy, Trevor Chalobah. Yeah. He'll be available in the summer apparently. So we
he played today, didn't he? Yesterday. He played yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah, he did. So again, their fixtures do prove an issue for them, but they've put themselves in a position where they can be in the conversation. I'm sure kind of if Don or Charlie were here, they'd be kind of stating their claim as to where or how they could potentially get Europe, but it does look difficult. However,
can we interrupt? And I just want to give Dan a right to reply here. There's something he flagged earlier. And Craig Lee, I think he's going to be coming for you. This one.
I love this. Right, and do you know what? Not a lot. I won't stand up for many United players, as you know, Pete. You know what I'm like. I can't stand them. But comments like this, I'm like, come on. If Højlund is in any other top 5 team, he bags. He is playing in a team where he is getting nothing. I watched it today. He gets nothing. It's like he's got the cloak of invisibility from Harry Potter. No one passes to him. We play with a formation where you've got Rashford, who just bombs it down the left, does a couple of step overs, and either runs it out or just passes it miles off. And then you've got Garnacho, who, unfortunately, as good as he's been, his first right is to shoot. I feel so sorry for Højlund. I honestly feel like if Højlund had a team around him that was utilising his strengths, he's a big boy. I haven't seen one cross go into him. One cross. You've got a 6'3" lad there, and you're not crossing it. That's ridiculous. So I disagree. I've been really impressed with him this season, just for the fact he keeps going. I mean, if I was him, I'd be hitting him in the changing room. I'd walk in. I'd be like, do you not recognise me? Dashing blue eyes, blonde hair. Do you know what I mean? How have you not seen me on the field? I can't stand it. I like him, and I think if we can get the players around him, I think he's shown this season. Before he had that injury, he went on that run, didn't he? He scored, was it 7 in 6? He knows where the back of the net is. And do you know what the funny thing was, lads, about that 7 in 6? The team were passing to him.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? What happens when you get the ball? If you get opportunities, you're going to finish. So I feel for him. I watched him against Bournemouth so many times. He's out doing what Rashford should be doing, out on the left. And I'm like, Christ almighty. And I go back to Ten Hag. Where's the management here? Where's the game management? Lads, I've signed you a striker. Use him for the love of God. So I can't have anyone say he's pony. There's far worse strikers out there, trust me.
Yeah, to be fair, you've got some support in the chat. A few people have said, I think Alan Thompson said that he'd take Højlund in Newcastle, at Newcastle, for example. But yeah, there's a few that have disagreed with that. But yeah, it's hard to gauge for me. There's some moments where he's been really, really good. There's been some moments where he's been average, but you could argue the service hasn't been there. So again, it's one of them where you probably have a better judgment on him next season. When he's had a little bit more time to play, especially if there's a new manager and there's a new focus. You know, if he's banging in the goals there, then that's the question sort of answered. But look, there's a few really good questions, and we'll come back to them. But we have to talk about Newcastle United. We have to. I'm not going to lie, and I said this to you boys. I think we've all said it to ourselves, lads. Certainly from a Newcastle perspective, just before that West Ham game, like I don't think any of us really kind of expected us. We hoped, but we didn't expect to be sitting in this position, certainly this quickly. And we're sitting 6th in the table, albeit joint with Man United, better goal difference. Won 3 of our last 5, and things are looking a hell of a lot better. And look, Daz, Chris, I'm going to come to you in a second. Newcastle United at this point, we're looking like we're in a really good spot. We've got fixtures that you would expect us to be maybe picking up points. Certainly, there's just the results there. Obviously, West Ham, Everton was the really disappointing one because we actually probably played some of our better football in that game and ended up doing it with a mad moment. Cost us 2 points. We go then and get a really good win against Fulham and then absolutely hammer Spurs, which I'm still buzzing about now, I'm not going to lie. However, the fixtures here are favourable. Palace Wednesday, which won't be an easy game because of the result today. You've got Sheffield United, Burnley, Brighton, Man United, and Brentford. Like, what have you? First of all, look, Daz, Chris, get your thoughts. Daz, what have you made of it all? With regards to Newcastle United's rise in recent weeks, looking at those fixtures, I know we've talked about it before. The question I've got for you both is the 6th is 6th place? Are we in pole position for 6th place?
Well, I'm not going to answer that straight away because I'm going to let Dan answer because I know Dan has to go. I promised him we find an exit strategy for him here because he's got the text. So, and you know when you get the text, you have to act on the text. It's nothing sinister, I promise. But Dan, your thoughts?
Look, I with the teams around me, if there's any team I wouldn't be opposed, then it would be you boys. But I think it's only because I've got an allegiance to Pete now. Because and of course to you chaps, I've grown very fond of him. I just don't speak to him when he's had a brandy because he always seems to come for me. Come for me, especially when he has a brandy. Jesus Christ, if you know chat, you know. But look, I mean, the fixtures you've got coming up, they are winnable fixtures. I think you've actually done really well to come out the back of what was such a turbulent time with injuries, and there was starting to we were starting to hear murmurs about was Howe correct for the job? Was he going to be there? And I think what we've seen, I love this about a club like Newcastle because you don't see this anywhere else. None of these silly little leaks coming out. Are the players starting to question? Is it this? Is it that? It's just been a united front, hasn't it? And I think when you are in the mire, you need to have that united front. Manchester United are far from that. So I think, look, you've got fixtures there that I can't see you slipping up many with. And with looking at the fixtures for the teams below you, I think you'll be all right, boys. Honestly, I think if you don't get sixth, then there'll be something wrong. I really do. And of course, you've got Isak that's fit now as well. I mean, that boy, we can all agree he's just absolutely incredible. So I think you do sixth fine. I really do. Like I said, especially with where we are, the game against us, if it's sixth, that will be the battle for sixth. I think that game will be whoever gets this solidifies sixth, and then it will be the rest below then.
Yeah.
Always appreciate your points, Dan. Thank you for coming on. And look, we'll reevaluate this maybe in a couple or a few games time and see how things have changed. So we'll definitely get you back on, mate. But look, we'll let you go. Don't want to get into any trouble.
Dan, show me the money.
Show you the money.
Yes,
I will pay double for him after what I've watched today. You name it, I'll pay it. I'll start a GoFundMe page up. I'll restart my Only Dan's app up and pay for
it. Ben Chilwell will be all over that.
Oh yeah, he will. Yeah.
Lads, it's a pleasure as always. And Dave, it's really nice to meet you, mate. And good luck with the rest of the season. I'm going to go and try and get this head sorted. It's like a bee's nest in here. Enjoy, guys. And as I said before, massive congratulations on the 10K. As always, when I come on the show, your fan base, the community you've built is absolutely brilliant. They are all fantastic people with great footballing points. And I love the way that it is becoming a football family with what you've created. So well done, guys. And it's been a pleasure to watch you grow and to be a part of it when I've popped on. So take care.
Legend.
Thanks, Sam.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Top man.
Bye-bye.
Great to have Dan on. Great opinions as well. But look, we'll keep it rolling. Newcastle United thoughts, and then we'll get Big Dave's opinions on Newcastle United and see what he thinks moving forward. But like Daz, Chris, like what are your thoughts right now about our race for Europe?
I think our prospects are good. Like it was only about a show ago or a week ago, we were talking about could we possibly even get into fifth. I said no. I think sixth is our level. I think we should be delighted to have finished sixth after the season the way it went. But no, I think there are some games that, especially the Crystal Palace one, will be tough because they are on a bit of a roll, as Big Dave knows, and Liverpool know as well. But we have a few winnable games coming up, so I think we can maintain sixth and hold on to it. I'm not as worried about Chelsea because of the fixtures. West Ham, I think there's change coming at West Ham, and I think people will be happier for that. Man United, I think. Yeah, I think that our game against them is going to be the kind of decider in us getting sixth, and I think we can win that. Even though people are saying a draw will be enough, but I think we can win that. And I think we'll fall short in actually trying to catch Spurs, who have tough games as well, actually. But I think we won't have enough road left to try and get fifth. And fifth doesn't matter now either. When there is no Champions League, it's the same as six more or less for this now. Probably more prize money and stuff, but yeah, it's not as important as it was a week ago. But yeah, I'm happy the way things are going, and we'll have a few players coming back like Nick Pope, Joe Linton, Trips will be coming back thereabouts as well. Wilson's back in training.
Yeah, I was about to say, sorry, Daz. Rumours Wilson's going to be on the bench against Palace.
So it's looking like we will have a good end of season at this moment in time.
Chris, how you feeling? Like, to be fair, because one of the review shows, you were the one that had confidence that we would catch Man United in sixth. You did say that, to be fair. Now we're in it. What are your thoughts? What are you thinking now? Are we there to stay?
I hope so, mate. Yeah, and for me now, I think we've managed this difficult period, and it's now very much in our hands. I think Daz is absolutely right. You know, when he says that, we've got a lot of players return. The fixture list is looking kind to us. I think we've managed that tough period. So for me, I think six is ours for the taking. And to kind of agree with the chat, I've not read all the comments, but to kind of agree with the chat, for me, the Man United game, the way I'm looking at it is just don't get beat. We don't get beat against Man United, I think we'll pick up more points than them. and I think we'll end up getting 6th. And tell you what, boys, we'll look back and go, you know what, six is a massive achievement considering what we've had to put up with this season. You know, with the injuries, suspensions, things like that. 6th would be a really good return, and it'd be great for Eddie Howe and his coaching staff as well, because we'll go into next season confident, hopefully bringing in 3 or 4 new players, and you know, staying away from those injuries. But yeah, I'm confident. I'm confident we'll get 6th now. Obviously, you've got to take each game at a time. It's going to be a difficult time to play Palace. Going to Selhurst Park won't be easy, but we've got a couple of nice other fixtures after that. So for me, as long as we try and pick up, I'd say anywhere between 12 and 15 points in the remaining games, I think we'll do it, and I believe we can as well. So fingers crossed. But yeah, I think we'll get 6, mate. What about you, Pete? Do you think we're getting it?
You know what? I do think, and Daz, you've been the same with this. I think this could well be the first season in the Premier League history that we finish above Man United, and this is what
Come on.
You said you
That's what I'm
wanted
here
this.
for.
You said you wanted this right at the beginning of the season, Daz, and
Yeah.
we were confident early on that we could do it, especially with their down turn in form. I didn't think it would be possible a few weeks ago. I do think it's possible now, and I do think that 6th is well within our grasp. I think there's more wins along the way here with the remaining games. I think if we can finish, I'll put it this way: if we can beat Palace on Wednesday, I think we go on and win our next 3 games after that as well. I think we go and beat Sheffield United, we go and beat Burnley, and we go and beat Brighton at St James's Park. That's how confident I'll be. And at that point, if we do that and go win our next 4 games, I'm not going to lie, boys, I'm not just thinking about 6th. I think there's a chance we can catch Tottenham. And it doesn't mean anything in terms of Champions League football. But this is how important I think Palace is. It doesn't mean Champions League football because we won't get a 5th spot. But what I mean by that is that it will just continue our real positive vein of form if we go and beat Palace, especially if they're in the form that they are. If we go there and do a job and win the game, I think the confidence is going to be sky high. And let's not forget, as you just mentioned, Trippier's coming back. Wilson's apparently in the squad on Wednesday. Joe Linton's chomping at the bit. You got Miggy coming back soon. You got you're getting your players back. Nick Pope. Like at that point, we're going to be getting all of our players back at the right times for when we play Man United at Old Trafford, for when we go to Brentford last game of the season. That confidence that I had last season is starting to come back to me now because of the way in which we're playing. And we're playing a different way, but we're playing it so well. And it's really difficult for teams to get anything from us at the moment. But look, Big Dave, like from what you've seen of Newcastle United, obviously since that game at St James's Park where West Ham played us, like what have you made in Newcastle? Do you think 6 is a dead cert for us? Do you think it's going to be difficult? Like, what have you made in Newcastle, mate?
I think looking at those fixtures, I think you've probably got, if you take the Man United game out of there, we'll look at the rating fixtures that are Man United. I think there's probably 3 points more there for Newcastle than there is for United. Look at that. Palace, let's be fair. We beat Palace today. If you just ignore the fact they scored 4 goals in the first half hour, we beat them 2-1. You know, they're there to be got at Palace. I mean, we scored 2 past them. We were poor. So I mean, yeah, if Isak can get a run at them centre halves, you know, he's probably the best number 9 in the Premier League at the moment. I don't think that's an outrageously controversial comment to make.
Agree, mate.
Sheffield United is winnable. Burnley's a winnable game. I mean, you'd be disappointed if you didn't get 6 points there. Yeah. Brighton. But I mean, Brighton by this point, I don't think they've got much to play for going into last week of the season. Brentford away it's a game you'd expect to win. I don't think that's, you know, we lost there. I think Neil Mopai scored from memory.
That tells us the story.
He's one of them players. You only get them players that just like, I'm convinced, and you know, that at some point Yeah, if you told me the Ballon d'Or in 2017 was Lionel Messi, the top three was Lionel Messi, Neil Maupay, and Jack Harrison, I believe you, because they always seem to put in those kind of Ballon d'Or performances against us. I think you're going to get over the line. I don't think you'll catch Spurs. He's the only starter. I think you're going to have to settle for 6. But I think that game on the 15th of May is going to be a shootout.
Yeah, definitely. You know what, boys? What do you think? I'll come back to Loaded Boys on this. Like, what are you thinking for that game? Because I think we've all said it now. I think Dan United said it as well. Daz, you've said it. Me and Chris, we've talked about it as well. Like that game, as Big Dave said, it's going to be a shootout. Like, what do you make of that? What do you make of that game? I actually think this is a really winnable game for Newcastle. Like, we can win every game, but I just think this is a really winnable game. Like, is anyone nervous about this game? Are anyone worried about Newcastle kind of like losing this game potentially?
No, if that game was on tomorrow, I'd go it. I'd bring that game on. That's all. It's all the chips on that game for me. You have to perform the other games as well, but I think that is going to be make or break. That would be a prime time in this race for Europe. What's left of the season for us? It's all or nothing on this game.
You're the same, Chris?
For the Man United game, you mean? Yeah. I just want to avoid defeat. I think as long as we don't get beat, we'll finish above them. Simple as. Dave was going through the fixtures there. I mean, we can, and hopefully we will beat Palace. We should beat Sheffield United. We should beat Burnley. I think we'll beat Brighton at home. Brighton for me have been one of the biggest disappointments this season. Because Brighton in previous seasons, they've caused us all kinds of problems, but I'm genuinely not worried about Brighton. This is where it bites me on the arse now, but genuinely not worried about Brighton at home. But yeah, I think as long as we don't lose to Man United, so for me, I'd take a draw now. I would. But can we beat them? Yeah, absolutely. And I don't think Man United will be looking forward to us coming to Old Trafford, because we'll probably want to, I can imagine Eddie Howe in the dressing room saying, right, come on, let's make our mark. Let's really push it down everyone's throats that we're above Man United and we deserve to be above Man United. And if we go and beat them as well, that will secure it.
Are any of you worried? It's interesting you mentioned Brighton, actually, because they were going to be added to this kind of group of kind of teams, and obviously we know Adam as well. Adam's great, and a great guest, and I'm sure we're getting back on. But I'm with you. I just think they're very inconsistent. But are you worried about, or is anyone in the chat worried from a Newcastle perspective? But Daz, Chris, are you worried that we've only got 2 games out of these remaining fixtures at St James's Park? Obviously, we're formidable at St James's Park. We've really upped our performances. But are you worried that kind of 4 of those games are away from home? Is that a concern, or I'm just putting it out there.
I think we're just on a roll at the minute. I mean, do you know what, Pete? If you'd have asked me this before the Fulham game, I'd have probably said yeah. But then to go and win like we did the Fulham, that's not an easy place to go to. So to go and get 3 points there was great. And I think it's just the fact of the not the level of quality of teams that we're playing away from home, but also like the form that they're in. Although Brentford absolutely smashed Luton, I watched that game. I couldn't believe that. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Luton at home, I really fancied them. But I'd fancy us at Burnley away. I'd fancy us at Old Trafford, as in we could get something, possibly win. And I think Brentford last game of the season. Last game of the season is always a difficult one as well, particularly for teams like Brentford, who are kind of just in the, not getting relegated, not getting top 10, just kind of floating around. I think the what do they call it when they say they've got the flip flops on? I think that could well be the case for Brentford, because they won't be fighting for anything. And Ivan Toney will be well and true. We were talking about players checking out. Ivan Toney, if he does start, he won't be going near anybody, because he'll be itching for his move in the summer. So I hope Ivan Toney starts, because I don't think he'll be putting himself about in any way. But yeah, no, I'm not too concerned, Pete, purely because of the opposition. Obviously, if we were coming up against teams, that were kind of fighting for something, maybe I'd be a little bit more concerned, or at least, at the top end of the table. Yes, Man United fall in that category, but Man United aren't what they used to be.
My answer is simple here, Pete. Barnes, Isak, Gordon, Notorious B.I.G. I saw that somewhere on Twitter today. Thought it was good. Notorious. Yeah, we are going to be on fire. So yeah, I think we've got our mojo back, and we'll have a few extra bodies back as well. I think we're going to have a good end of the season.
Yeah, definitely. I'm confident of that as well. I think that was Craig Hope that started the Notorious B.I.G. Yeah, he put it somewhere and then it's kicked off. But yeah, they can do the business. Yeah, definitely. If they can do the business, yeah, we'll be getting sick. That's for sure. Look, no doubt we'll be talking about this in the next few games. It could all change in very different ways, and this is the beauty of the fight for Europe. But just before we kind of start to wrap up, is there a few questions for Big Dave since we've got him on?
Yeah, there's loads of stuff we've marked here. Let me see for Big Dave.
Just before you ask it, I think it's been. You know what? It's important to say this. Obviously, we talked about the 10K subscribers, and it's great to achieve that. But it's great tonight to see so many different people in the chat. Lots of new people. I know that a few have been talking to Sophie NUFC. So I think she's just about to head off. So Sophie NUFC, hope you've subscribed. Great to see you in the chat. We encourage everybody and everybody else that's new. That's been watching. Firstly, as on point as always, thanks for watching. And as well, if people are watching and not being involved in the chat and getting involved, please get involved. Get your questions in. We don't bring them up straight away, but we star them and we'll come back to them later on in the show. But massively appreciate everyone in the chat, and great to have so many new faces coming to join us. Sorry, Dad.
Yeah, no, you're grand. Let's go with this one. You kind of touched on it earlier, Dave, about what comes from Toon Gamer. Surprise. He's an expert in the questions. If he asks the question, where does the West Ham guest Dave think that Paqueta will end up in the summer, and for how much?
The strong rumours are he's got an £85 million release clause, which Manchester City are prepared to match under agreed personal terms on. So the expectation is he's going to City, and for the performances he's putting in at the moment, he might as well go now.
Look, to be fair, Lauder said the same. Lauder said exactly the same. He was like, get him gone.
This one I want to give a shout out to Dave Knight for the super chat, and he's following your advice, Chris. Trevor Chalobah is an absolute must for 30 million, he says. Not for me, but yeah,
it's not about 30 million. But yeah, but no, I like where Dave was going there. I like that.
One for you, Dave. It's Toon Gamer again, but yes, how good is Calvin Phillips?
Oh, awful. I don't know if you saw this. It did the rounds after we played at St James's Park in a very forgettable game. Phillips, while boarding the team bus, someone shouted something. I think they called him useless, and he decided to give the middle finger. And then, lo and behold, he had a hamstring. I think he might have been on the bench of Spurs. And he had a hamstring problem, and he came back on the day, and it was nice. He sort of came over and clapped the fans. One of the, I'd say half the squad did it, to be fair, but given that he'd opened himself up for a bit of abuse, it was nice to see. I wish, to be honest, I'd cancelled the loan. It's not worked out. We're not getting our money's worth. I can imagine it's quite difficult, coming from being a Northern boy. Obviously Leeds and Manchester ain't that far apart. You're still around all your friends, your family, all the people you grew up with, and then suddenly you come down to London on a 6-month loan. I feel a bit sorry for him because the details were leaked of his loan that we've paid a £6 million loan fee, and we paid his £135,000 a week wages in full, which obviously put an expectation on him to perform. When he's not been fit, he was always going to take time to get up to speed. He didn't do it. It's not worked out. But the only reason any of those details got leaked is because we got a chairman that wants to look like he's done something rather than actually doing something. So, he let Ben Rama and Fornals go on deadline day to Leon and Betis. Didn't replace them. Phillips was the only one who came in. So I think at that point it was like, he set him up for a bit of a scapegoat. It either worked, in which case, I'll look at me. I've done this brilliant bit of business for us, and we've got an obligation, or we have got an obligation. Rumours are we had an option to buy in the summer. If it worked out, if it doesn't work out, then everyone turns around and goes, the blame goes on Calvin Phillips. I feel sorry for him. He still worked out. Thanks for nothing, Calvin, and good luck back at Leeds or where it is you end up next year.
Yeah.
Next question, Dave. Life Goes asks, Michael Carrick, supposedly the next West Ham manager, would be good. But would you take him? Would you take Michael Carrick?
Player.
It's difficult. He seems to be a bit streaky, didn't he? He came into Middlesbrough and he got a bit of playoffs. And in this season, it seems like I think they was in the relegation zone for a while, not that long ago. And now they're pushing up into the top half of the league table, I believe. No, I think it's a huge risk. I'm sure he was a very good coach at Man United. Maybe he's going to be a great assistant for someone, but I'm not sure at this point of where we are. If we'd just been relegated, yeah, I'd take a punt. But for a club that's got aspirations to push on and try and get back into Europe, I think it's a huge, huge risk. If I was going to take a punt on anyone, maybe McKenna and what he's done at Ipswich. But no, not Carrick, not for me.
Speaking of the youth team and coming to the youth team, then a question from Jory 2 for Life. Question, Big Dave. West Ham have a brilliant youth team. Why doesn't Moyes give them a chance? Otherwise, some of that talent will move on. Thoughts?
Well, I watch the under-21s quite a lot. So I've seen quite a lot of this. I think there are 4 players in our under-21s from this season that were part of the Youth Cup winning squad last season that will go on and be really good footballers, like Premier League level. Caelan Casey at centre half. He's a 6'4", good with both feet, composed in the air. I think he's captain the under-21s at the moment. We've got Lewis Orford in midfield, who's I've seen him score 3 or 4 25-yarders this year. Again, a very good technical, composed footballer. You've got George Urphy, who's made his debut. He obviously had that bit of a sickening one against Fulham.
Yeah, is he okay?
But
that was
I think he sort of I think it was just one of the precautionary ones where he took the full force of Edson Alvarez to the face, and that's not going to end well for too many people. And I think they just took him in for a precaution. I think he would have been involved in the squad today, but I think if you're concussed, you can't play for 7 days. I think there's
10 days, I think.
Yeah.
So we won't see George Urphy back in the squad till next week. And we've got Callum Marshall, who is, I think, still the top scorer in the Premier League too, despite the fact he spent the last 3 months at West Brom. I think he's got potential. And then beyond that, we've got a couple of kids, Julie Robinson. Oh, Ollie Scholes, actually. I'll take that back. I think we've got 5. I think Ollie Scholes played against Bucharest last year in the Conference League. Hasn't been seen around the first team since, but looked really composed, left back. Definitely someone that I'd love to see, because you know what it's like. Getting to play Aaron Cresswell, been a great servant for the club. He's got no future. His legs are gone, bless him. But someone like Scholes should have been given the opportunity to take the backup role for Everton, get those minutes in the cup, get those minutes in the Premier League, and it's not been. It's why Moyes doesn't play them. He apparently likes a small. Like I said earlier, he likes a small squad. Apparently, I don't think he trusts them. I think as a manager, you've got to be brave. If you're going to play young players, you've got to have courage to do it. And you've got to be prepared for the fact that those young players are going to take time to adjust. You might get some inconsistent performances out of them because they are going to need to grow and to learn. And David Moyes can't do that. He's a poor man manager. Various players have come out and said, we said earlier about Mourinho and Schweinsteiger. Various players have come out and said, if I'm not in the squad, he doesn't talk to me. You get the cold shoulder treatment off him. He's got no interest in the young. I don't think I've seen him in an under-21s game. All the games I've been to. So,
shame.
It is a shame. It is because we've got, as you go through the tunnel at London Stadium, it's got in big letters above it. Like Liverpool's got "Welcome to Anfield." Now it's got the Academy of Football, and it's a lovely little punchline and it's a lovely little slogan. But if you're not going to bring through the young players, you're not going to give these kids, that are winning leagues, second I think in the league at the moment. Under 18s are second in their league. If you're not going to get these kids a pathway, then what's the point? You're not the Academy of Football. You're just another Premier League club that's desperately trying to buy short-term success.
Yeah. It's feeling like that. Someone has theatre of dreams as well, I think. Dave, another one for you. Jake asks, does Dave have a channel? Off you go, Dave.
No, when you got a face like this, you try not to do YouTube. I do have a Spotify podcast, or it's Hammers Pod is available wherever you get your podcasts. I hope I've set that up right. If not, I'm 6 months into a podcast and not getting it distributed. I do West Ham Fan TV. I do the fan cams for those. So that's, I think, the only place you can regularly see me on YouTube.
Cool. Then it's into questions for us, lads. Maybe I'll throw a few of them at you. Jimmy, want to ask the question: is Minter staying at Feyenoord next season? I know there was a bit of a kerfuffle last night over a picture, but no one really knows whether he what will happen next season yet. Whether he'll stay, whether he'll get sold, or whether there'll be some kind of a clause in his contract that we could buy him back, or so on and so forth. But what's your thoughts, lads?
Well, firstly, congratulations, because they won the cup today. Final cup winners. Now, unfortunately for him, he got sent off. He got sent off during the game for 2 yellow cards. But and he looked really emotional after the game when they were kind of celebrating. They all kind of consoled him and all the rest of it. So yeah, he's got a trophy in the bag, which is not a bad achievement for a successful loan. I think we should say. But for me, I think he stays at Feyenoord. I think he stays at Feyenoord this season for next season. Another loan. But I don't know what you boys think. What do you think, Chris?
I don't know. I think Eddie will have a look at him in the summer and maybe see what he's looking like. And also, it'll depend on how much money we've got to spend. The right wing the right wing is a problem for us. But if we're planning on going out and bringing in a right wing replacement, and obviously we've seen Anthony Gordon playing on the right wing as well. What I don't want to do is see us bring Yankuba Minter back and him play very minimal football. Dave mentioned it before, in terms of Cornet and players like that. We want him to be able to kind of get minutes. And if he's getting the minutes at Feyenoord, let him stay there for another year. And then we'll reassess the situation in the 25-26 season. For me, it's all about playing football at this age. He needs to make sure that he's playing first team football regularly and at a really good standard, which he is. Winning a cup, no harm done there. So I think we'll have a look at him in the summer and then assess. But my gut feeling says that he'll either go out on loan again or stay at Feyenoord on loan.
This is my thing with regards to Yankuba Minter, is because you're looking at our right wing situation, as you just mentioned, Chris, and you're thinking like, well, Miggy, like take Gordon away, because Gordon was sensational there against Tottenham, but he's predominantly a left-sided sort of a front three, along with Barnes. So we leave them on that side. But if you're looking at the right side attacking area, you've got, let's face it, we've got Miggy that's first choice, or would have been considered first choice, with Murphy as backup. Now there's lots of speculation and there's a very, very high chance that Miggy moves on in the summer. So my question is to all Newcastle fans is that, would you be happy with Yankuba Minter coming in as your first choice right winger that is then given the responsibility to go, right, we need to get Champions League football this season, and you're going to be the guy to help us do that? And when I kind of ask myself that question, and other people may have a different opinion on that, when I ask myself that question, I'm thinking probably not. And so therefore, I'm fully expecting Newcastle United to go out and get a right winger that is first choice, that is the main guy, that's going to be playing every week and is going to be tasked with the responsibility and happy to go, I'm your guy, I'm going to get you the Champions League football that you want. That's just my opinion. But
I agree.
Then I would have him as backup. But Murphy's not going anywhere. His contract's too long. I think his contract's 2027, 2028, something like that. he's not going anywhere, so he's going to remain to be the backup. But that's just me.
Yeah,
you
no,
make-
I agree.
You make a great point there, Pete, and I was just thinking about it the other day as well. Next season, we have to get into those Champions League spaces. It's and there'll be trouble, I guess, if and changes if we don't. But that's for another conversation, and let's see how the transfer window goes. Let's see how the in the season goes first. Just a few shout outs, and I'm going to skip a few of the questions and go for the shout outs. Easter Mag was in the chat as well, and he saw that he won his prize, and he's Chris, you sorted him out there as well. The email address to collect the prize via you. And Harry, you remember Harry? He's now soon to be Smooth Harry, prize winner from the other night as well. So like that little name change, Harry. And Craig Lee says as well, he wasn't letting it go, Craig Lee, when Dan came back at him, because he goes, Dan is off to meet Highland for the dinner for bigging him up. Good come back, Craig. But yeah, that's really it more or less for the questions. No, I'm not asking this, Johnny Team for Life. Sammy Schmurlix, he's playing for Ireland now. Would you believe that? He's declaring he's playing a game as playing for Ireland.
Oh, wow.
But I don't think he's at our level. Where we're going.
We've been it with that Spudich. Apparently, Spudich is a West Ham fan. So yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah, I know that.
Oh,
He scored 30 goals this season, apparently. 30 goals.
In a poor Blackburn team. In a poor Blackburn team, and let's not forget, boys, the last time, there was an opportunity to take a risk on a little-known striker from the Championship. He ended up going to Sporting Lisbon, didn't he? Gyökeres.
True, but different age.
People
though.
I don't think he's that old. I think he's like mid-20s, like 25, maybe something like that.
I don't know.
I think he is.
Yeah, about 25, I think. Sammy Schmurlix, let me see. He is 28.
28?
I thought he was
25.
Not a great age.
I think, you know what? I think you might have mentioned it before, Daz, when we did the Blackburn.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think you mentioned that he was 28, so I just had it in my mind. I did think he was older, but still,
He's
that
29 in September.
Doesn't mean he can't have a run in the Prem. And if he's a West Ham fan,
Yeah.
you boys clearly need another striker because you're relying heavily on Mikel Antonio, and he's very inconsistent. Some days he's on fire. To be fair, he was excellent against the St James's Park, and him coming off changed the game for you. But since then, he's had really up and down games, and someone like him coming in could be actually a good foil for him.
Yeah, I think Antonio's 34 now, so just to defend him.
Geordie Tune for Life is changing his name as well. He's going with the bald Geordie. Interesting. That is it for the questions, guys.
Spot on. No, I love it. Been a great show. Really enjoyed it. Firstly, thank you. 25 month membership. Thank you, Lisa. Much appreciated. And thank you for all the other membership renewals. Thank you for all the super chats. Much appreciated. Big Dave, absolute pleasure to have you on again. Thank you for coming and joining us. Always a great.
Thank you very much. I loved it. I loved it. Congratulations again with the 10K. That's some going.
I appreciate it. And like we said to Dan as well, we'll do this in sort of 2 or 3 games time and reassess it. So it'd be amazing to have you on. And I know for a fact, like last time, so many people in the chat are appreciating you, mate. So hopefully people go on to Hammers Pod and check it out on Spotify and give it a listen. As well, and show some support for Big Dave.
Thank you.
But for Loaded, it's not the only thing we're going to be doing this week, because I think we've got a few things lined up.
Yes, we have this. Talk us through it, Pete.
Yeah, away days. We've got midweek away days because obviously we've got a midweek game. So we've got Rich coming to join us from Eagle Eyed Football. Dee couldn't make it, unfortunately, because he's traveling away. He's going on holiday. So Rich is going to come and join us. And Rich has been on before, really good guy. Looking forward to chatting to him. Knows his stuff. He's not going to give us no rubbish takes that Roy Hodgson is better than Eddie Howe, like a certain D will mention. But we're gonna have a good chat about all things Crystal Palace and Newcastle United. And hopefully, as well, boys, we'll be back celebrating 3 points later on in the week.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
Hopefully. Let's see. I suppose there's only one thing left to say. Dave, how'd you like that?
Drink it, like weed and tell me you like that, like that.